We're not happy. Not happy anymore. We weren't happy. Then you pay. And you find out that In-N-Out has raised their prices too. Like the other food places. Everywhere is raising their prices. I used to pay $8.39 for a while. Then it was $8.71. Now it's $9 even. Like, of course I'll probably come back. But how am I ever gonna survive this crisis? Which is one thing after another.
This guy says, I love going to a good restaurant for a meal with friends. The food is pretty good, so is the service, but issue is always going to be the price. Prices just keep increasing. Nowadays, even in my city, going to like a casual Mexican place used to be like $10, $11. Now it's like $20. And that's like if you just get a water, like no drinks, no sodas, nothing. Restaurants keep raising the prices and lowering the quality. It's out of control. This guy says the bill for 3 people with the tip was $95 for some pizza, some kids burgers, grilled sandwich, and an appetizer. I mean, it is so expensive. I mean, a lot of the food really is just reheated food or just food that they buy from Cisco and they just deep fry it or heat up in an oven and just serve it to you. Like the food just isn't even that great, but they are charging very, very high prices. Check out some of these videos.
My child asked me why we tip in America and we don't in other countries. And so I responded by saying, do you want the short answer or the long answer? Because that's usually what I say. And they responded both, because that's usually what they say. So I said, short answer is slavery and the result thereof. And they were like, can you explain longer? And I go, yes. Imagine if you have a bunch of enslaved people and you treat them very cruelly. One of the things that enslaved and oppressed people will have to do as a survival tactic is to be polite to their masters, especially in the house, especially in things that are service oriented. Now imagine you had to free all of those enslaved people, but you didn't really want to free them and you wanted to make sure you maintain the status quo. Would you institute a system in which you paid them a fair, livable wage and just expected them to behave like decent human beings? You cannot do that because you, in your human beingness, have oppressed people with cruelty and with enslavement. And so therefore you would then institute a system in which any kind of service industry, any kind of service occupation would not be paid simply for the doing of that job with the human expectation of kindness. Instead, what you would make sure is to have a system in which they have to be polite to you in order to have a livable wage. And that you, as the oppressor, could have control over that by justifying their wage with a tip that would be dependent on how polite they were to you, so that these formerly enslaved people or future enslaved people will have to be polite to you. And they thought about that and they were like, that makes a lot of sense and is also terrible and not fair. And I said, yes, I think most other countries have figured that out by now and hopefully America will catch up.
I don't want battered and fried buffalo cauliflower at a restaurant that charges $45 per person. I don't want fried cauliflower. I want tofu. I want protein. If you're serving marinated and blackened and sauteed and chimichurri animal proteins, what is your excuse? Don't even get me started on serving falafel as the only vegetarian main. Your falafel is dry. And your cauliflower breading is so soggy. Do better.
I think we can all agree that eating at a restaurant has become ridiculously priced in the past few years. We cook at home most of the times, but we like to go out once or twice a week. And I honestly feel like me and my husband, cannot go out to lunch or dinner without spending $50+ and we don't even drink. A couple months ago now, me and my husband kind of just looked at each other after going to an moderately priced restaurant and being that was not worth it. And we kind of just decided then and there that we were either going to go the fast casual chain restaurant route or go to a really nice restaurant where we knew that we were going to get a great meal and it be worth what we were paying for. This has kind of helped with that balance of sometimes we don't want to cook, sometimes we want a great experience, but we weren't getting that value out of going to the mediocre restaurant and it being worth our money. So if you kind of feel like how we do, I don't know, this might be something to help your budget or just kind of like help your sanity in these times where like you can't get a reasonably priced meal at a restaurant.
I don't know if it's me or what, but there's no way that every time I leave to go get some food for lunch, it's like $15. I don't know if it's because I'm not eating at McDonald's or Taco Bell or whatever, but these prices is getting outrageous. Like, I'm one person. I should be at least $6. Like, $6. Not 15, not 12, not 20. Why is and then the crazy thing about it is, like, I went and got me some quesadillas. And why am I spending $12 and it ain't even got no drink? It ain't even no drink. It ain't even no side. Like, what is going on? So am I going crazy?
So Americans are starting to tip less. A recent Wall Street Journal survey found that Americans were starting to push back on tip prompts for basic transactions and service charges, and overall were just very frustrated with tipping culture, which has always been around in America, at least in the recent history, but has really exploded in the past couple of years, kind of with the rise of those tip screens, etc. And tipping has been around in American culture for quite a while, but in the past couple of years, it has definitely exploded with the proliferation of the tipping screens, just kind of coming out of COVID. And the survey revealed that in response, Americans are starting to have higher standards, to warrant tipping, using cash to avoid the tip screens, or simply tipping less or not at all. And this isn't just about saving money, though I think that is a factor during times of economic uncertainty. I think there is also kind of this psychology piece at play where I think a lot of consumers believe that the traditional boundaries of what deserves a tip has been overextended to transactions that previously didn't include tipping. And a really good example of this is those self-service kiosks where you kind of go and scan the items and then ask for a tip. And understandably, that feels pretty frustrating and annoying that you have to deal with that. And, you know, tipping has normally been guided by widely understood, if not unwritten, rules. And as these norms have become violated on the tipping end of things, you know, tipping has kind of been inserted in places where it wasn't inserted before, people are understandably getting frustrated by that, one. And two, they're also just getting exhausted by having to navigate all these different social expectations that are just rapidly changing around tipping. So that's leading to people to tip less or not at all. And I was saying before, economic pressure definitely plays a role here, but I think it's a little bit more nuanced than just cutting costs. So yes, I think there might be some consumers that are foregoing the tip just to save a couple bucks here and there, but I think we're also seeing a fundamental shift in consumption patterns. So people are eating out less, cooking home at more, etc. It's also really important to point out that tipping has partly been about social signaling and power relationships. And as the power balance shifts between service providers and consumers through technology and changing economic conditions, tipping behaviors will adjust accordingly.
I have a genuine controversial question. Why do we tip servers who get paid minimum wage in California? Because the original argument for tipping servers is because they're not getting paid enough since the owners aren't paying them, so we as the customers are paying for their livable wage. But in California, minimum wage is required. So now that all these servers and fast food workers and retail workers are all getting paid the same wage, but for some reason tipping culture is only prevalent in serving, that's where I'm confused.
Let's take a look at this receipt I got yesterday. So $5.66 plus 0 for service charge plus 34 cents equals 6. And my total is somehow $7.20. There's no gratuity or whatever. So I got 2 fountain drinks to go as your total $6. I hand her my credit card. She walks off to the side to swipe it, and I can see the screen, and it says $7.20. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, that seems like a lot for, like, tax or something. And she goes, do you want a receipt? I said, yeah. So I grab my receipt, and then I go to the bathroom. I add that up to make sure it does equal 6, and then I'm not just stupid, which it does. And then I also realized that $1.20, which is what I was overcharged, is 20%. So then I go back, I ask her, was there a tip added to this? And she said, no, there's a 20% service fee on credit cards. Service charge, $0. So then I'm like, oh, like, that would have been nice to know before I handed you my credit card, because I would have rather just paid in cash and saved my $1.20 for a credit card fee, but like, question mark. And she goes, okay, this is what gets me. Okay, do you want me to refund the tip? And I'm like, you just told me it wasn't a tip. Anyway, so I say, yeah. She gets her little cash drawer and ends up giving me $2 because she didn't have change, but that just tells me she's guilty, because why would you give me 80 extra cents if you're not wrong? So either I think she accidentally hit the 20% tip button or tried to pull a fast one on me, because it was one of the little machines that like spins around, but she like had to go off to the side, so I wasn't over there to like do anything, and I also didn't get a receipt to sign anything until I asked for it. So this makes me hate tipping, which I already hate tipping unless I'm like at a sit down restaurant. But like, am I wrong? Am I stupid? Okay, that's all. Bye.
Wendy's has officially gone way overboard. They are trying to roll out an Uber-style surge pricing with their menu prices fluctuating based on demand. So you may pull up in the drive-thru and a cheeseburger is going to cost $5. By the time you pull up to the actual order menu, it might be $7.50 or $10, depending on the surge pricing. Here comes the rant. Sorry, it's the nerd in me. But their cost of goods is not surging as well. It's staying the same. So if this is not price gouging at its finest and introducing a new way of things, if you are any other restaurant, do not do this. I'm telling you, Wendy's is going to have a revolt. So of course, I wanted to see what the current prices is for Wendy's if you were to go. They have introduced these $5 biggie bags where you pretty much get what you used to get for like $3 for now $5 plus change, but you get way less than you used to get. This is what the millennials were used to. This is when it was really, really good times. Can we please get back to this? The quantities were bigger. Everything was 99 cents. You would roll up and be like, give me 4 JBCs and a chicken nugget. Back when your metabolism wasn't going to add 10 pounds for that order. It was better times. I cannot believe they're thinking about doing the surge pricing. This is going to be disastrous. How about we bring this back, and I guarantee you, you're going to get a lot more happy people.
Stop spending money that you don't have on things that you don't need. I feel like at this point I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to continue to say it until maybe it gets through some of you guys' heads. I've cut back on eating out a lot because for whatever reason, that price is astronomical. You can't go out to lunch without dropping at least $40, and dinner for me and my girlfriend is usually around $100. I'm not telling you not to treat yourself. I'm not telling you not to enjoy the little things in life. Whether you're cooking meals at home or meal prepping for lunch for the week, every dollar saved for a rainy day is a good day. And quite literally, it feels like rainy days are happening every day. Even with my 9-to-5 that's stable, I get paid well, and I'm also frugal, it still feels like it isn't enough. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
Check it out, guys. This is how we pay here in America. You can see all the 3 options for tipping. 20% used to be the high end, 18% was okay service, and 15% was just, your baseline. But now they want 25%. Which,
if you guys thought that was bad, look at this shit. 30% on the low end, mid-range 40% tip, and then 50% tip. These people are trying to charge us an extra half of the original price as tip. Now, this tipping culture is getting out of hand. Look, I'm all for tipping, except maybe when I'm going to pick up at a store. If I'm not sitting down in that store, I don't think there's any need to tip. Yeah, if you're sitting down at a store or you're getting food delivered to you, yeah, it's good to tip. Back in the day, 12 to 15% used to be like a really good tip. Now it's looking like you don't even have that options in some stores. Look at this. These restaurant owners are getting richer and richer while we as the customers, we have to pay the employee's salary. These corporations need to pay their employees a better salary, and they should stop guilt-tripping us into paying salaries for them. What do you guys think of this crazy rise in tipping prices or tipping percentages at the moment?
So since I've been in Oakland, I've been trying my best to try at least one Black restaurant for dinner, which is something that I usually haven't done. I did Pierre Pierre, I did Wise today. And so anyway, sitting at the bar today, and there's this guy, very cute guy, nice beard, well kept, dressed in, regular sweats and a baseball cap that wasn't to the side, because y'all know how I feel about those side baseball caps at our age, or just side baseball caps and just side hats. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Anyway, so Troy, he's actually from here. We're chit-chatting and talking or whatever. He had left for a little while and came back in his food. He had maybe 2 pieces of catfish, a side of maybe macaroni and cheese, something else, and maybe some wings. Maybe. That's what was on his plate. And his meal was $53. $53. It was just him. Nobody else. No alcohol. I had water. He had water over there. So $53. Now me, I had catfish, 2 sides. My 2 sides were macaroni and cheese, red beans and rice. And yeah, that's it. That was all. I think mine was $34. I had water. 2 pieces of catfish, macaroni and cheese, red beans and rice. Oh, yeah. There was a little cornbread muffin. $34. I don't know how they afford to eat out here. I'm not real sure. Now, I ate at Pierre Pierre last night. And night before last, I ate at Pierre Pierre. I had salmon, an 8-ounce salmon, a Caesar salad, spinach, arugula. I feel like I had something else on that plate. Oh, yeah, and garlic mashed potatoes. I think that was $47 for dinner. And maybe I'm just frugal. I don't know. And it's not even my money. The company pays for me to eat. But that just seemed like a lot. Is that a lot? For just one person? Like, I understand why dates would cost so much now, but, that just seems like a lot. You tell me, maybe I'm just confused and just used to, I don't know, salsaritas? I don't know.
I'm not no fortune teller, nor can I predict the future. But Burger King, y'all not getting no more of my money because y'all charge me $8.57 for just a Whopper, not a double Whopper. So let's calculate. Let's calculate the Whopper. $1 for the bun, $1 for mayo, $1 for lettuce, $1 for ketchup, that's $4 already. $1 for cheese, that's $5. $1 for onions, that's $6. $1 for 2 pickles, that's $7. And the patty, I guess that's the $8. So y'all charge me $8.57 for a Whopper. A Whopper. I can guarantee you I'm gonna enjoy eating this Whopper because it'll be my last one. It'll be my last one. How is we supposed to afford groceries and fast food? Like, we gotta pick a choice. So now I feel like I gotta go home and share this Whopper with my kids because it's $8.57. This is like gonna be our last gourmet burger. It's gonna be gourmet, y'all, for $8.57. This not Wagyu beef. Like, this not even top sirloin. All y'all doing is putting liquid smoke on the doggone Whopper to make it flame broil. Come on now. Y'all gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better. That's all I'm saying.
I like rice, I like beef, I like chicken, I like fish. But one thing I don't like is a dish that costs me $50. Like, why on earth are you charging me $50 for white rice and goat curry? Where are you sourcing the ingredients from? Like, from the end of the rainbow or something?
Y'all, we are at Freddy's in North Augusta, the hamburger place. And Addie wanted a double, some tater tots, and a concrete. It's like a milkshake. And guess how much they just told me I had to pay? $16. What the world? $16 for a fast food restaurant? Something is wrong with this picture. I don't know what's going on, but sister girl need a job. That's what you need. So we gonna, if anybody hiring a 12-year-old, let me know, cause sister need a job, because we can't be eating out. We can't be eating out like this if it's $16 every time. She acting silly over here, acting silly. But I'm gonna put her to work. So anybody hiring 12-year-olds, almost 13, let her sister know, because she got to get a job. It is no way. I wish they'll go back to using their school stomachs.
You doing too much.
And and eat like they did when they went to school, because then we won't have to worry about all this. Someone need to hurry up and get over, because they need to go back to school. I can't do this every day.
Okay, I understand that inflation is ridiculous and it's out of hand and whatnot, but I just got Taco Bell and I got 3 items and it cost me $19. How the fuck is a fast food restaurant that's supposed to be cheap cost $19? A Crunchwrap Supreme, a quesadilla, and a 5-layer burrito average basically $7 a piece. That is outrageous that it's that expensive. And yes, it's a guilty pleasure. I love Taco Bell. What am I gonna do about it? But what the fuck? Like, how is the fucking fast food $20 for 3 items? That's stupid. So fucking stupid. I'm still gonna eat the shit, because like I said, it's a guilty pleasure. It should not cost $20. Taco Bell, do better, please.
Popeyes, I have a bone to pick with you. I'm scrolling through the Popeyes app, and yes, I have the Popeyes app on my phone. Judge your mother. I clicked on the special offers tab, and that's where all the discounts and the coupons are. These discounts are not discounting enough for me. When I click on the little discount section, I'm expecting to see a chicken tender meal for $3.99 or $4.99, not no $25.99. For a mix and match family meal. I don't have a family to feed. I'm just doing this for me. 25% off a 3-piece tenders combo for $10.12. The original price was $13. I remember when this shit was like $7. And why are y'all offering these big quantities? Like, I don't need a 14-piece tender family meal, and I'm not spending $25.99 on it. How do y'all have a 5-piece signature chicken toucan for $12.99? How is 5 pieces of chicken feeding 2 people? So one person gets 3 pieces and one person gets 2? Maybe I'm just too fat and too cheap.
So I just wanted to say that I do not think that most people have a concept of how much wage theft happens in restaurants. And what's even worse is that I think most restaurant employees do not have a concept of how much wage theft happens to them. And it's either because they do not recognize what is legal or illegal, they do not know their rights, and or they do not recognize the wage theft is happening because it is hidden by ownership or management. I lived in Chicago for 10 years, and I spent all of that 10 years working in restaurants, and I worked in everything from dives to, trendy upscale restaurants to like top tier fine dining, right? And there were a few places that I experienced wage theft. And in those places, it was kind of low level. There was one place that I did, I need to correct myself. There was one place I did experience wage theft that was egregious, and I did not realize it until many years after I had stopped working there. But there were some places that I did experience wage theft, and it was low level. And I think that's probably the most common, things like, oh, you don't have to go buy an apron. You don't have to have pens or a server notebook. We have that stuff here for you. And then they have a hidden charge in your paycheck every 2 weeks for those things, right? I've heard of all different types of things. I trained at a place that attempted to charge for family meal, and we all know that family meal is free, right? And it wasn't just that they were trying to charge for it. It was that it was clearly just the scraps. It was clearly what they were going to throw away. The food looked like it had been thrown away, pulled out of the trash and heated up, right? Just another way to take money from the people that are working for them. There's far, far worse, more blatant in your face ways, like a restaurant requiring all of the servers and bartenders to pool their tips, and then it being managers getting a cut of that money, which is highly illegal. But there are a lot of employees that don't know that, right? Or they don't feel like they have recourse. They don't feel like they can fight back. And I will tell you up front, if you are one of those employees who thinks that you are experiencing wage theft, there are employment lawyers out there that will take your case and they will help you. I know of a lot of class action lawsuits. I had a friend in Chicago who is still a very highly successful employment lawyer, and there are people out there that will fight for you and they will work for you. So don't take it lying down. And I think what's just really, really heartbreaking is that restaurant work, like I said in my original video, is highly exploitative. It is an exploitative industry at its nature. And I have been very fortunate in that I have worked in good places. I currently work in an amazing place and I'm very well taken care of by ownership. But, you know, the majority of people, I would say, that work in the restaurant industry are exploited in multiple ways, from ownership to management to customer base, right? So you have an industry where workers are being exploited. They are working oftentimes 8-12 hours at a stretch on a daily basis. They're often not granted their legal breaks. They don't have access to bathrooms when they need them. They're often not getting food like they should be. They are working themselves to the bone. They are often scheduled in a way where they cannot have a balanced life outside of work. Customers treat them poorly, then don't tip, and then they're having their wages stolen by their employers.